and see if anything changes here as we head into Champions League for the second match of this best-of-5 series between Starhorn Royal Club as well as Newbee. This is the series, Raz, that will put someone back into the LPL for next split. So a lot is on the line because there's only one spot left in the LPL. Nidalee, Twisted Fate, and Talia are going to be banned out by Starhorn Royal Club. Alistar and Vladimir are Newbee's two bans, as well as the Gnar coming out here. They do not want Lemmy to pick up that champion. But right off the bat, something that does really stick out is Talia. Dade had a great game on the champion.
Talia and Twisted Fate, both champions do share a lot of the same similarities in terms of just trying to get away from the fight. Look and bully one side of the map rather than looking for that outright team fight in whatever composition you find yourself in.
Now, I really want to see what Dade is going to be picking up as his champion of choice heading into this match, because his most played champion after Victor is that Twisted Fate, and Talia's been something he's been picked up recently. For now, though, you have the Shen being banned out, being first picked by Newbee. Moore is going to be picking up his Braum heading into this game as well, but the first pick for Starhorn Royal Club is going to be the Sivir.
Yeah, exactly. So the Sivir pick is something that we see a lot from Starhorn Royal Club throughout this split. There was even a point where they just picked up five games in a row. So that is a major priority for them. If they find a pick for it, they will go straight for it. So that just shows what kind of composition they're looking to go for. Just run right into. And Shen and Braum, a lot of semi-global coming out of Shen. Well, global coming out of Shen with a TP on top of that. That's something that they're very comfortable with as a team. Is just, hey, you may take out Talia, you may take away Twisted Fate, but our mobility, our ability to be in every skirmish at all times will remain.
Insect's going to be locking in Gragas as his jungler of choice. We will have Trundle being picked up in this game for Starhorn Royal Club. We'll have to see if they do flex someone in as a support or if it does go into the top lane for Let Me. We saw a lot of top lane Trundle come out in that last set for Young Miracles.
Yeah, we see a lot of Trundle coming out of Starhorn Royal Club as well as a team.
Okay.
They do like the pick. Goes straight back to their point where, yeah, you get Trundle for him. And on top of that, you get whatever assassin we see from Korn, and we'll have a good 1-3-1 working out well for them. So we have the Sivir to really allow that to grow, able to be that massive wave clear force in the mid lane. So we'll see how Newbee do work against it.
Well, Newbee throwing the kitchen sink into here. They pick up Illusion as their AD
farm up, but at the same time you have great focus on Dragon, just overall neutral objectives.
Whereas the side of Starhorn Royal Club, they've completed their draft. Poppy will be picked up in the top lane, a champion we've seen resurge in the LPL and LSPL as of her late buffs before 6.15, and we will have LeBlanc heading into the mid lane.
So yeah, now we have the Poppy Sivir combo, so who just runs right into the back line, deals with whoever. A great pick up against the Kha'Zix. So if Kha'Zix wants to be able to get into that fight, he has to watch out for Poppy first and foremost. With LeBlanc as well, LeBlanc is a great pick that Korn has gone to quite a bit. On top of that, he loves picking the teleport up on top of it. So if you do see his LeBlanc, it's kind of similar to Xiao Wei Xiao's, where he does go for that TP LeBlanc, sits in the side lane, forces anyone or just challenges anyone to really answer him.
The final pick that's going to be coming in for Newbee is the Malzahar in the mid lane. Dade going to be picking up that champion. And we've seen a few Malzahars still being picked up in 6.15 Raz, despite the changes to his shield. Still a very solid pick, but not as oppressive as when he was first changed for mid-season Magic.
So yeah, it's properly a pick here as a last pick. Really wants to see what he's going up against. Now he's going up against a lot of damage and a lot of mobility. Right now, LeBlanc is the pick that you saw a lot of Malzahars loving the pick into. So you go Malzahar into LeBlanc every time, but that has changed quite a bit. Now people know how to go up against it. So now you have LeBlanc. Once you lay down your damage, even just a Q, you can do whatever you want towards that Malzahar. And on top of that, you have
staple team cons for these two teams as the coaches shake hands, because we're about to head into the second match of this best-of-5 series between Starhorn Royal Club as well as Newbee. And unfortunately, it seems like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties here, Raz. You know, we're getting hyped up. You know, we're talking about, you know, one more of these teams going to be heading into the LPL. We should be, you know, getting excited, getting pumped up, sending them back into that next split. Computer problems, not good. Gonna have to turn that one off and on again.
Oh yeah, that's the main way to deal with these computer problems. Not too sure why it takes so long sometimes. If you just maybe you're just turning it off and on again multiple times.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't work the first time, you got to try it the second time.
Just keep trying that. That's just number one rule of electronics.
Yeah.
But we are going to be heading into that second game shortly, Raz. It's going to be Newbee taking on Starhunt Royal Club. We've already saw a 60-minute slugfest before between the two teams in the first match of tonight. Back and forth, and it went exactly as how we expected to do, all the way to the end, because Newbee, early game aggression, really good coming out from them. One big mistake mid-game means Starhunt Royal Club capitalized on it fantastically, get a 10,000 goal lead, and then Newbee fight back from that, able to pull the game back in their favor. And now the team concept completely changed once again. You know, very different team comp coming out from Newbee, still very pick-orientated, but Starhunt Royal Club kind of sticking to that team-fighting team comp.
Yeah, it works well for them. As long as they got their 1-3-1 going for them, they can really set it up as well, right? So I like the fact that they're just going straight back to it. Because the reason why it didn't work last time was because they'll just blame it on positioning, right? They'll say, you know what are you doing sitting here, right? That 5 minutes of just that 5 minutes of them just like looking towards their mistakes was probably just like pointing towards Void. Like, what are you doing here? What's happening here? And he's just like apologizing multiple times. But yeah, as a team, they did make a lot of mistakes early. Of course, they found themselves in that deficit to begin with, so that's something you have to really look towards and worry about. But as a team, just keep playing your game.
Because Newbee is a team where they have been on the slump recently. They did do well. I shouldn't say well. They had an up and down start to the summer split of the LPL, but in the spring split, they did phenomenally well. They looked completely different to what they are now. They are a team, though, that occasionally, if you do give them those early advantage and early leads, they can capitalize on it. On the rare occasion where they don't make a mistake, they're just going to plow through your team. And if some Royal Club keep falling behind early, that's always a possibility from Newbee.
Yeah, so it just comes down to the fact that Newbee just need to figure out what they're doing, right?
Yep.
Whoever's the shot caller of that team, whoever's talking, whoever's mobilizing that entire unit needs to start listening to himself a little. It's like, hey, you know what? The first 10 minutes, first 15 minutes are going our way, right? And it's all on me. Great job, whoever is doing it. Great job, Swift. I'm just going to put it on Swift. I have no reason to do so, but I'm just going to do it anyways, right?
All right, Swift.
But yeah, just like look towards your play and just say, hey, you know what? We're doing a great job up until this point. Let's continue to do that. But how do we finish the game? How do we get to that point where we are a consistent team going forward? That's all they really need to do because they do have the players. Every player is shining through, including V.
Yep, and hopefully we can see Newbee do just that. For now, though, Raz, it seems like we have a little bit of time here. So what else are we looking at coming into this game? Because it is a big match for these two teams. A winner of this Best of 5 series does get a spot back into the LPL next split. One of the key things we can really look at here, because it is a very interesting matchup between Starhorn as well as Newbee.
Yeah, for both teams, for specifically Starhorn Royal Club, I think the one thing that they should take away from this, because entire split, they've been that team to really just press that go button, go forward. If it doesn't work out, then you know what? You probably didn't do it correctly last time, right? I think this time they did a good job in the early set of the game, even though it turned on them because Newbee was in position, that they should go back and look to go for those 5-man team fights, or at least a 5-man dive in the bottom lane, right? At that point, just look to set it up properly. Just say, you know what, Corn, if you need that time to shove out the lane and walk towards me, then I'll give you that time.
Hopefully we'll be able to see Starhorn Royal Club do just that heading this game as well as Newbee try and make use of their advantages here because, I mean, we talk about the differences of Newbee between spring split and summer all the time. Moving into the summer split, Newbee did lose Doinby. He went over to Newbee Young, who have actually automatically qualified into the LPL as well. Picked up Dade in the mid lane. They lost Uzi to RNG, who are now second place team coming out of group stages and are waiting in the semifinals for their next match, which will be taking place tomorrow as well. But it seems like the core structure of this team didn't disappear. They still had V. They still have Swift as well. Dade was an immediate replacement for Doinby. You know, has a little bit of different playstyle, but they still had Happy.
A little bit. Tiny bit. It's a massive difference.
They still had Happy and they still have more in the bottom lane. So the core of the team kind of didn't disappear, but they just have such a different performance coming to spring split. It seems like things have really been shaken up. Could be that massive difference between Dade and Doinby.
It is. Whoever controls the mid lane controls the game, right? Because Swift is a very one-track-minded player. He will go in. He's fairly aggressive. Doesn't really think about the problems with his actions, really. So it's not really on Swift. It's about the dynamic that we saw from mid lane and jungle. That was something that we really applauded that team for, was the fact that their mid lane jungle synergy was so damn good. Now it comes down to the point where they have to rebuild it off a completely different style that isn't complementing either of them.
They certainly are trying to do just that. I mean, they've had the entire summer split to do that. They got, I'm going to say as well, you know, we said Young Miracles were a little bit unlucky. They were very unlucky coming into the playoff run, like we mentioned time and time again during that last game that we saw against OMG. I'm going to say Newbee were slightly unlucky going to the summer split as well, because that was a late game run from IG that took them off guard. They slumped at the wrong time as well. Now they're fighting for their lives here, but rightfully so. We have to see if Star and Royal Club can take advantage of a slumping Newbie who have had an up and down season so far.
I don't know if there is a right time to slump. I think you just gotta play it well. And that's the Raz way right there. It's just if you got problems, hopefully you have the org infrastructure to be able to deal with it. Otherwise, you're just gonna eat each other apart.
See, hashtag Korean advice from Raz here. You gotta play good.
Play good League of Legends. Don't slump.
The #1 way to win games, Raz. Just play good. Hopefully we see these two teams play great League of Legends, because we did have a slugfest last game. The late game teamfights were still brilliant to watch, especially the execution coming out from Newbee. Their execution on teamfights looked great going into the game. It seems like their objectives were fumbled very frequently. So hopefully get a little bit more of those great teamfights, less objective fumbles.
Yeah, that would be nice. One big point, too, is that kind of or at least the biggest point was Talia was actually a major focus for a lot of these team fights. Weaver as well was able to do so much for his team, right? And I thought that at that point, Talia doesn't provide nearly as much damage, consistent damage for his team in this early game team fight, but the utility really did end up carrying that team through. So the utility for Talia is something really you can't blink an eye towards as the game goes on.
Certainly can't, but Talia was immediately taken away during Champions League this game. This time round, they're going to be running LeBlanc in the mid lane for Korn, and we will have the Malzahar from Dade. We saw that mid lane there, level 1 trades going heavily in Korn's favor, making sure he constantly gets the auto attack down to deny the shield coming out from Dade. There it is again, going in with the spells, making sure he chunks him out at every single chance he gets. Bottom lane, going in Happy's and Morn's favor at the moment. Lucian Brom, a very strong lane, can proc the concussive blows very quickly on Lucian with the light single passive.
One big thing about the mid lane matchup is that you change your identity with the sum spells, because with Ignite Summoners, you actually have a lot of options in terms of being able to 1v1 the lane. If you have Teleport, of course you do lose out in that aspect, and so Dade should be able to play it accordingly. The only real way you can get the kills is, of course, if Gragas is there.
Here comes Swift and Moore, looking to try and find Insect inside of his jungle. Jump from the bug, lands on top of Insect, who's trying to run away. Double flash coming in, but he gets first blood. Swift just finds him, chases him down, and will even be able to 3-buff him very early into this game.
Yeah, Insect saw it coming, was able to get the vision, but of course didn't flash at the right time. Really did hold on to his sums and his body slam. So he did, luckily enough for him, he had the time to react, just didn't use it.
You know, Swift, most received bans in the LPL has been as nearly 64% of the games is taken away from him. Starhorn Royal Club, you mentioned earlier, Raz, love to ban away that champion, but Swift has been known for his Kha'Zix as well. Once he gets that champion, invades in, you're going to have a tough time, especially if you're on someone like the Gragas.
It's like he had a revelation in the last set where Intruder would just constantly play Kha'Zix into that Italy matchup, and he's like, you know what, I play this champion too.
Yeah.
I had to figure that out. I was like, wait a minute. That's like my Kha'Zix.
I'm going to play an Insect into Insect. It's a great idea. Okay, Raz is angry at me. I'll stop now.
I'm not angry.
He just gave me the look of, I'm going to kill you. But yeah, still very good early start for Newbee already. First blood on over to a Swift. He did have more rotating with him, which is great to see for Newbee. He wasn't required, but still the added protection was great. Now Swift moving straight down into bottom lane, tries to leap over the pillar. Can't quite get the concussive blows down to lock down the Trundle and pick up the kill there. But still a good look coming out from Newbee. Swift is yet to go back to base, and now we'll use that time to recall, pick up his items. Ooh, Stardate going to get locked down here. The Voidlings, they are angry though, Raz. They're chasing down Korn. They're relentless. Had to be careful there. But here comes Gragas looking for the body slam. Ghost being used by Dade immediately just runs the heck away from Insect.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the difference between Teleport and Ignite. If he had Ignite, he would have definitely looked to all in on that. That was his positioning. Got the nice flank around the minions and nice chain. But of course, just not able to follow up. Didn't have the damage and the consistent damage coming out of Dade. Was able to almost solo him out.
And we see Ghost coming out of a lot more mid laners lately as their second summoner spell after Flash. Was changed a few patches ago. Gives a lot more movement speed now.
I mean, there's that. That's a big point as well. Generally, Dade has been a Ghost. He's valued Ghost historically as a summoner spell. So that's just one point that he's had. But yeah, the Ghost did change quite a bit. And on top of that, not really valuing the cleanse in this matchup.
No Ash Arrow to be afraid of. Last game he took that cleanse. Wasn't too great for him to start off. And the Lissandra was able to just burst through that. But was very useful in the late game teamfights when he did get locked down, especially if an Ash Arrow did connect. Coming in for Voy. This time around he is on that Sivir. Provides utility for his team by empowering his allies more than disabling his opponents. Stade will get locked down again. The Foilings, they're angry. They're
ruthless.
hunting for him. They don't like it when Korn attacks him. They've got to help the Master. But Swift, making his presence well known in this mid lane, moves down, clears out the ward on the left side of the brush of the mid lane. Dade will just continue to try and farm up here. Eventually, Malzahar will hit level 6 like he has here, and now it's going to be difficult for Korn to look to do the same tricks he has been this entire game.
Yeah, it's difficult for him because right now, Newbee have a lot of strong vision on each side of this lane. A good pink ward nearing his blue buff on the right beside the wall. And of course, great pink on the left side. Right now, they have pinks on both sides of this lane. They will be able to see Insect at any moment. Now, Swift, of course, getting caught out doing this. They know he's on this.
They do. Insect finds him. Doesn't want to quite 1v1 him yet. They do prop his Raptor sense. They will reset the blue. Poppy was threatening to move down and collapse on top of him. Happy, though, going aggressive. Forces the heal coming out from Voy. Will lock him down with the concussive blows. Lei getting lots of damage down. Lucian trying to go toe-to-toe. But Star and Royal Club, they juggle that aggro pretty well.
Ooh.
Culling will come out, hits level 5. The killer will knock him back into the lines of the minions to stop the rest of that damage, but still, Star and Royal Club's bottom lane, they've got to be really careful. There is a heal available for Happy, can potentially use it more. Will be able to jump to a minion and get away from the turret. Heal comes out just in time as well. And Lemmy still going in. Korn's coming down. Newbee got to be careful. V might be in trouble. A flash forward. Korn gets one. Looking for Happy. He's dashing away. V's trying to run as well. Insect's trying to join the party. Looking to try and knock someone back. Lemmy takes a few too many turret shots there, but it's still a 1-for-1 trade as Sahan Royal Club bring everyone into this bottom lane.
Yeah, support for support. The trade-off here is, of course, now Voy can shove this lane in. Perhaps deny, but of course V is going to hold the lane. But at the same time, Dade was able to shove mid lane too. So LeBlanc going to lose out in a lot of experience.
During that entire time, Swift was farming up his jungle. Will head back to base and was not able to be a part of that gank in the bottom lane. Unlike Insect, who didn't do much either himself, but still was just a presence. He was a body, so to speak, being thrown into the play.
Yeah, the fight was already won. His presence really just comes down to the fact if Swift had joined and he's not there, then that's just the problem. So he's just there for added investment. Otherwise, he'd just be farming up and not really as efficient.
So the Void Puppies just demolished the wolves. Dade trying to farm up in the jungle as well as the mid lane as Korn slowly pushes this one out towards his turret. Will be able to take blue buff for himself, which is donated by Swift.
With this opening Korn now has had for himself, he can look to place the down, good vision. Got a pink ward on the red side jungle. Looks like he's going to be committing to this.
Going topside the map, V has a big minion wave he's trying to deal with and trim it down. But here comes Korn. Let me jumps in. Korn does a lot of damage. Dodfield comes down, but he can't dodge magic damage. Let me will tank up the turret as long as he possibly can. Korn now chasing. Vicious sticking around, but Swift, he's been knocked back into the team. Will hopscotch his way away. Goes invisible. Culling comes out from Happy to keep him safe. Insect now the one has to retreat for his life. They do protect their jungler, but a good pick coming out from Insect.
Exactly. So right now, 2 flashes out from Newbee. Top lane flash from Shen and jungle flash on Swift.
Here comes a teleport into the bottom lane. Shen looking to help them out with this dive. Pillar comes out. Swift waiting in the wings, seeing if he can jump around. That's actually Dade that's jumped down as well, using the ghost to try and close the distance. Newbee, though, brute force their way on towards this turret, and the first structure gold should go over towards Newbee.
Yeah, that works out well for them. They're going to be able to share it, perhaps. Let's see how they look to divvy it up. Yeah, that's shared between 4 people. Works out well for them, and they're going to back away and perhaps takes this dragon. Meanwhile, right now, Dade walks back mid to get the CS that was pushed into his lane.
And again, Newbee take a very early advantage for themselves, not only in terms of gold, but structures take it down. They're taking down the Cloud Dragon as well. And like we talked about during Champions League, what we really want to see from Newbee from here on out is maintaining this pressure. Keep up the early game pressure. Don't drop the ball, because they've already seen that Starhorn Royal Club can capitalize on mistakes made by Newbee.
Yeah, so once again, Newbee find themselves with this lead, and it's not really constructed by the composition. They had a composition that is more reactive, but they're able to start to play towards good decisions in general. Let's see if it keeps up.
Starhorn Royal Club, though, they will be looking for those mistakes coming out from Newbee. They know that it's possible, but at the same time, we have yet to see that aggression from Starhorn Royal Club. Insect's been locked down in his jungle very early by Swift. Been trying to be as reactive as possible so far, because most of the proactive plays have come out from Newbee in this game. Very strange to see Starhorn Royal Club not on the front foot heading into the early game of the match.
Yeah, right now, Insect just needs to nullify Swift at any time possible, because if he ever finds himself in a team fight with Swift, Swift will have more of an impact. Swift right now is far ahead in this lead. There's a difference between right now Swift having AD, right now Runic AP coming out of Gragas. So he's still going damage, even though he did fall early towards that Kha'Zix.
So we check back in with the mid lane. Dade is still pushing this one out. Swift is now moving towards the top side of the map. We have seen the AD carry and supports from both teams rotate up to the top side of the map after the first structure falls, as we have seen very frequently in 6.15. Newbee will slowly rotate as many members as possible around here, and it looks like they're going to be able to give up another structure here, or maybe possibly just waiting for more members to join them on the top side of the map. Insect is still down the bottom lane, looking to see if he can help out this Poppy.
They're finally looking to defend this. So right now they do have TP on Poppy. Poppy did shove this tower in, so this would be a good moment for her to join in on the play.
He just takes a lot of damage there. Decides he wants to, just poke out V underneath his own turret. Why not, really?
Ooh, he might just get closed in on.
This has been warded. Let's get swept away by more. Here comes Insect looking to take it for himself. Successfully secures his own blue buff, but that does mean Korn's not going to pick it up.
Yeah, Korn might just be fine with that at the moment. He has control of the matchup as is. He is a bit behind, and he's just going to get consistently shoved in. So actually, at that point in time, he would have been a little bit happy with it. At the moment, he is struggling with CS. Or with keeping up. He's just getting shoved in.
It certainly is. But a relatively quiet game between the two teams. Lots of action to start things off. Newbee did take that very early advantage. It's only about 1,000 gold lead. But they'd be comfortable with that, and they took the first Dragon too. A Cloud Dragon just to boost their movement speed slightly. They were not able to brute force this top lane turret down, and now Happy actually taking a disadvantageous trade, using his refillable potion to keep him topped up as much as possible. Has to be very careful though, because that is slowly adding up to a lot of damage.
Yeah, and the pillar in tandem with the poke coming out of Voi's boomerang is fairly destructive. So you do have to watch out for that. That does mean that you will 100% take that added damage if you don't really watch out for it.
Whereas Dade now taking his blue buff for himself. Swift did force Insect to take down his own blue, so it'll be a blue buff disadvantage, going in favor of Newbee for the next few minutes.
Exactly. Now I'm going to see how Let Me plays this lane now. He's just getting shoved in at the moment. He's going to try and shove it out. Just constantly going up against this Shen.
Insect looking to take his own blue, red buff. Korn still farming in this mid lane. Has picked up his Morel and Nomicon, but so has the Malzahar, looking for his Merc Threads as his next item. Inside of Swift, he's gone for a Hex Drinker, and rightfully so. There is a LeBlanc on the map. Magic damage will come out from Poppy as well as the Gragas too, so it makes sense to get the item. We will see the Essence Reaver that comes out from Sivir here, so not opting to go for the Infinity Edge that we see a couple of Sivers pick up lately in the LPL.
Yeah, there was a bit of a phase about that.
Damn it, Uzi. Why is it got to be you?
I guess if you're just confident that you're going to somehow get that gold, he's just going to go straight for it rather than
Then we got
Essence Reaver.
Then we got a couple of other anti carries that like to
Oh,
build unique builds, but meanwhile they're locking down Korn. It's going to be Swift that flashes on 4, but the flash is burnt by LeBlanc as well. Newbee look for the pick in the mid lane, but the passive from LeBlanc keeping him nice and safe from the Kazakhs.
Now it doesn't have flash. That's going to be rather influential, but Dade.
This is Insect looking for Dade. Will have his ultimate, but there's a Stand United. Let me though, locks him down. Dade going to be taken out very low because Korn just teleported in. Where did he go? Over the wall. Houdini Dade trying to run away. Not going to work. Malefic Visions will get some work done on over towards the Gragas, but still San Royal Club turn around that play with a big teleport back into the mid lane from Korn.
Yeah, the double TP is showing through the TP from Korn and Let Me just walking right in. So they don't even lose TP advantage just based off that fact that you always have 2 TPs to work with. So great TP from Korn, able to get a return from that. So he didn't die in the initial point, but he's coming back for it now.
Now Starhunt Royal Club rotate everyone they have except for Let Me into the mid lane. Let Me still has that teleport available, so this mid lane outer turret will fall. They're leaving Happy in the top side of the map to keep pushing and hopefully trade turret for turret. At the same time, though, Dragon has come back and is online, and Ocean Dragon is available for these two teams. Newbee do have the opportunity to try and take as much advantage as possible to take that one down, but slowly they're going to have to be careful because many members of Newbee are creeping up on over towards Happy and decide not to go for the flank.
So that is a tower trade, but it is a favorable one for Starhorn Royal Club. Being able to take down that mid outer tower first means that they do have a lot of leg room and putting out shallow vision inside both sides of the jungle.
Now it's going to be Newbee that start off with this Dragon, but a fight on the top side of the map means Exhaust is going to be used on Happy. Still going to be Lay that gets locked down, tries to flash, but at what cost? Because Happy just gets a few more auto attacks down. They get a 2v2 in the top lane as well as the Dragon getting taken down by Swift.
Yeah, that was an interesting flash, but more so that was an interesting fight. Here comes Let Me, though.
There's Let Me looking to try and lock someone down against a wall. Concussive blows will keep them safe, and they try to move away from the walls as much as possible. Suddenly, V's up on the top side of the map. Void's used on the hunt. Korn is joining the fight as well. Star and Royal Club's teleport does get defused by Newbee.
So yeah, that is a TP coming down from V. We'll have ulti in just about like 30 seconds, so he doesn't exactly lose out completely in that his global. So he can always just go straight back bottom lane and still be able to impact that top side map.
They're still waiting though. Void's gonna have to be careful. There's the Yomi's Ghost Blade. Spell Shield gets popped. Let Me comes back up. He's getting a dash straight on top of her, but they ignore the Poppy, go on a killing spree. Now Let Me trying to go 2-on-2. V's gonna come up to the top lane. Happy has to flash. Insect will obliterate more with his ultimate. V still going toe-to-toe. Locks down Let Me. There is a member chasing up behind him, which will be the Trundle, and they have to be very careful because Swift is moving up to the top lane still. A 1-for-1 trade, AD carry for support.
Yeah, Happy able to get out of there alive by the neck of his teeth. Meanwhile, right now LeBlanc is able to shove in that wave. Not going to be able to completely chip down this tower, but perhaps we'll be able to clean out some pinks.
For now though, Swift going to be taking down his own red buff. Newbee still looking strong early, but the lead they've picked up is very minor to say the least. 1,500 gold, looking to try and increase that lead with not only the 2 dragons they picked up previously, but now the Rift Herald as well. Gonna have to check in to see if Swift or V picks this one up. Should go over towards the Shen, but I've seen weirder things with Swift. He kind of likes to be strong.
Nah, it should 100% go to V, especially since he's going up against the Let Me with Poppy.
Yep.
That matchup should go towards Shen once he does get his items in. Korn getting jumped on, but the QSS coming out of LeBlanc, able to counteract that.
And we see that by a lot of mid laners. So whenever they're against a Malzahar, they don't risk it. They get their first item. Cool. I've got my item now. I'm going QSS. I don't care.
Yeah. Doesn't even
don't
matter.
want to die.
Exactly. It does not matter what it builds into that point. They just want to be able to outplay, get out of that entirely.
I can feel it, Raz. One day, we're going to have a LeBlanc with a Mercurial Scimitar. It's going to happen.
Why would it happen?
Why not?
Because it's
you know, your late
inefficient.
game, you got 6 items. Like, I've got this QSS.
The only time that's ever going to happen is if we see a top lane LeBlanc with Trinity Force.
I've seen weirder things. I mean,
No,
Raz,
you haven't. You can't just say that.
I've come from the GPL, okay? They used to build a Hex Drinker on Malzahar mid. You don't know what you're talking about.
You know what? Okay, all right. I trust you. Actually, I don't trust you.
Old mate SOFM, have you seen this guy? But yeah, he should sell later on the match. Still very effective early to pick up against the Malzahar.
Could just even sit with it. It doesn't matter. Once you get 5 items, just sit with that QSS. Once it gets to 6, perhaps, you can sell it.
You know, get his onions.
Yeah, probably.
So now though, it's still Newbee slightly in the lead, approaching 2,000 gold up, but Starhorn Royal Club still holding on nice and easy, making sure they don't make too many mistakes, not allowing Newbee to capitalize on anything and get further ahead. They know all it takes is one big play for them to get back into the game. They did it last match. Hopefully they can do it again here.
Yeah, right now, Newbee's fairly comfortable with where they are. They can completely shove out these lanes right now. Happy, Moors, 2v2. They're fairly comfortable in it. They kind of have to be. They did get that 2v2 kill going for them. But yeah, they have Malzahar, they have Kha'Zix. Whenever they do get the vision going for themselves, you have to respect those two because the objective control that they get is fairly large. Able to just burn out any objective really coming towards them.
Certainly has been. So now looking to try and push towards this mid lane turret. Out of turret down to about half health, just from Dane constantly shoving up against this LeBlanc. And it's still going to be V-Split pushing the bottom side of the map. Neither team really pushing for anything yet. Dragon will be coming back up in a minute 30. This time out, it is an Infernal Dragon.
Yeah.
So something that these two teams would like to fight for. Happy in the meanwhile, he's picked up the Yomu's, Ghostblade, and Black Cleaver on his Lucian.
So we finally found it. Korn is going to be the one matching V. V does have to watch out because if he does get constantly shoved in like this, where he finds himself, yeah, you can W in and out. But mostly it just comes down to the chains like this.
Yeah,
he can get chipped out constantly.
He will be. Does have the components of his Spirit Visage, not going to get as badly hurt.
Yeah, but once again, LeBlanc right now is either going to be going towards the Rabadon's Death Cack or even perhaps the Luden's Echo. Regardless of where she goes in which item she goes towards, should be able to impact V quite heavily.
His opponent, Dade, being really respectful as well, picked up a Negatron Cloak, knows that the magic damage coming out from Starhorn Royal Club can take him down once his passive does get popped.
Yeah. But right now, Starhorn's playing it slow. They have Voy in the mid lane, and they're committing to this 1-3-1. It should work out well for them as long as LeBlanc seems like they sent down Lucian towards dealing with that. So that's fairly risky. Right now, Lucian cannot look to push another wave unless if Braum is there.
Newbee send their Shen up towards the top side of the map to continue split pushing. Good timing because Dragon is going to be up and online now. Infernal Dragon ready for these two teams. Korn finds more, locks him down with the chains. As he puts up the shield just to try and mitigate some of that damage. Swift though, he wants a kill, finds Korn, locks him down with the Q, but just forces Korn to use the distortion to run away. Happy has started on this Infernal Dragon. They do see a ward and clear it out to start things off. They want to leash it away from the pits. Braum putting up the shield, trying to take as much damage as possible, but there's on the hunt. Starhorn Royal Club really look like they want to try and fight for this. Swift wants to finish this dragon. There goes the lockdown on towards Insect. Swift gets the dragon at the same time. It will be Insect that falls first. Swift now jumping into the pit, but a big ultimate coming out from Poppy separates so many members of Newbee. Swift low, V in the back lines. Lei has to flash away. Let Me has to run. Voy's going to run as well. He will get tagged by the Winter's Bite, getting slowed down significantly. A good pillar comes out, but there goes Happy over the walls. Locked down. He's into the back lines again. Let Me's going to try and run away, and Newbee get a really big team fight off of the back of that dragon play.
Yeah, no damage coming out of this team. And V is way too massive right now. He was on top of 3 people. You thought that he would have been able to get burnt down, but just not the case right now. There's no damage coming out of Starhorn.
And that's given Newbee a 3,000 gold lead heading into the second match. Dade just does what Malzahars do best, heads straight into the mid lane, pushes that one down, but take us through this again, Raz.
So a big point here was the fact that Happy was going through this team fight. And of course he does get booted out, but at this play, V was full HP sitting on top of them. Just tanking out so much damage, forces Void to really deal with him, sitting on top of him. And they just spread them out.
Here's Lemmy trying to lock down Swift there. So the entire time V was keeping the team occupied, Lemmy's just like, okay, I've got a Kha'Zix. Help me out.
Yeah. So the amount of damage coming out of Starhorn right now, just not there, especially since the gold that LeBlanc had. Well, just look at that. But yeah, LeBlanc could have been a big factor. But A was half HP even before that fight, simply because of the pick that Swift did, able to chunk him out quite heavily.
And V picking up the most damage dealt during that fight. He's a tanky Shen, dealing a lot of damage. Speaks to how well he's been playing throughout this series as well.
Yeah, he played that out incredibly well. Even though they lost 2 people, Happy and Moore were just bopped out of that fight, V was able to just sit on top of them long enough for Happy to re-enter the fight. So right now, they don't have an answer in dealing with him.
It is going to be difficult. Starhorn Royal Club are still holding on. Happy now, looking to try and siege up this mid lane turret. As Moore puts up the shield, trying to block some of the damage that will come out from Lei and Void. Slowly walking this minion wave on towards the outer turret. Pillar comes down just to separate the minions, slow them down so that Void can clear them effectively in the mid lane. He's about 40 CS behind Happy at the moment, so not doing too well on the Sivir to start things off. Again though, Insect, he's locked down. Swift goes over the wall, gets some good isolation damage on towards the Gragas, but can't quite kill him.
So that's a big thing, because at this point they can go back into sieging mid. With Gragas that low, with Korn, with no mana getting shoved out bot lane, they have so much. They have a massive ability just being able to rotate Shen towards this mid lane and just force them off this tower.
Yep, his standing knight is up and available. Still has teleport as well, something that only Korn can use to match him at this point in time. Korn did go back to base. He picked up his Rabadon's death cap, so lots of ability power being picked up by the LeBlanc. Should be able to assist him in terms of dealing damage, but there's still a lot of magic resistance that has been picked up by Newbee. Now it's Happy that's been sent towards the top side of the map. He is on the top lane pushing duty. 4-0-1, pretty strong to start this game off. Even he has his Hex Drinker completed.
Now he's fairly safe to be able to do that. A, he's fed. He has a lot of damage going for him, going for that armor pen build that we see quite a long time ago, actually. We don't see a lot of Lucians lately. A lot of Ashe, Jhin coming out. So this is first time in a while that we're seeing a Lucian pick. But with that being said, he's able to come towards the top lane and shove that out, because we do see LeBlanc threatening that Shen in the bot side. So if that's what they're going to consistently look to do, send Korn up against V, then of course this is going to be the result.
Cheeky play from Korn. Taking some good damage down towards V, but he's a Shen, doesn't really care.
Oh
boy, he's been locked down. Happy picks up that kill. Dade doing a good job on this Malzahar so far.
Yeah, keeping his eye out. Notices that Void is far too forward. He does have the flash, so he's able to flash, lock him down, kill him, take this tower. Really good look for him.
Newbee increased their gold lead. 4,000 gold up ahead of Starhorn Royal Club, looking to push down this mid lane inner turret as well. Shield gets tanked up by Moore. Ultimate being used by Insect. Lemmy charges in very aggressively. Has to face the wrath of the Voidlings in order by doing so.
Yeah, at this moment, Starhorn Royal Club is not really utilizing their 1-3-1 effectively. Korn being the one to answer Shen is not the right call. They finally do put Poppy up against the Shen, but you want to have LeBlanc go up against either Dade or Happy, whoever answers for you in the opposite side. You cannot have Korn go up against Shen. Now Shen, yeah, he can do quite a bit of damage to Shen, but either his mana is going to run out, or it's just going to be such a long drawn out fight that you won't really get much out of it. What you want to do is force either Happy or Dade in that situation, because that's an instant assassination. So, and on top of that, you'll be able to get so much more vision and pressure off of it. So they finally put it in the right position. They are 4K gold behind. And, of course, Newbee is looking for it. They send Shen immediately topside to just constantly be looking and dealing with that LeBlanc.
On top of that, they do have the Dragon spawning in 20 seconds. We see Newbee do this every single time. Means they want to try and contest for this Drake, it feels. And use the Sand United coming up from V to get down into the bottom side of the map quicker than anybody else from the side of Starhorn Royal Club. Clearing up wards, making sure they are the ones in vision control and picking up their major items before they go for this fight. Second Infernal Dragon of the game has spawned. Newbee already have one. They want to pick up the next one as well for sure. And kind of help them scale into the late game. Korn is on the bottom side of the map. They are sending Let Me to the top lane on this Poppy to deal with the Shen. So they will have the LeBlanc to start things off if Swift tries to pull it out of the pit, which he has done. Throws his W out.
There is a ward there, so they're constantly pulling LeBlanc away from the bottom lane just to really look to answer to this pull from that dragon.
Push the mid lane first. And they might want to wait for their sweepers to try and clear out the remaining wards that Starhorn have been able to put down, but they just pull the trigger, get some good damage down to start things off, pull it out of the pit. Now the question is, what are they going to do next? Swift tanking it up, down to half health. Insect going over the top, see if he can get a steal. There goes Korn, tries to go in, gets locked down. QSS keeps him alive. Good item purchase coming out from him, but still second Infernal Dragon does fall, and is taken down by Newbee.
He was looking for the steal. He does have the Rabadon's death cap. Had he Q ultied it, of course he probably would have gotten it, but you're not going to even get that chance. You're going up against Stade, he has his ulti, so that moment you do jump in, you can get the smite down. Swift can get the smite down because, of course, he has the execution damage, and on top of that, that split moment of a lockdown won't allow you to get that burst.
Starhorn Royal Club do get a consolation prize, which is the bottom lane outer turret. Turrets are now 2-3 in favor of Newbee, but 4 big dragons already picked up by Newbee, and we're moving slowly in towards the late game. Somehow, though, Starhorn Royal Club have been holding on pretty well. 3,000 gold behind, 32 minutes into the game.
Well, they have control of these side lanes, which is good for them. It took some time for them to be getting these proper matchups out. They finally get the bot lane tower as a result of having Korn there. Korn, as I said, did pick up the Rabadon's death cap. He's doing quite a bit of damage to the towers himself. But now, of course, if he ever finds himself in the same lane as Lucian, his Q, ulti, and chain will delete him. So this is the constant threat that Happy has to deal with, and it seems like he's ready to take that threat on.
Definitely does.
This is really risky. Of course, Happy does have his red buff. The question is who ends up winning this, or if they're even going to look for it. If LeBlanc ends up challenging him on this wave, that'll be interesting.
I'd like to see if he could with that more Malmortius. Does have his last Whisper picked up early, so that's a very heavy armor penetration Lucian. Yes, the Poppy's going to be tanky, so is Insect, but you're just going to be shredded right through by the Black Cleaver, by the double serrated Dirk item, and now by the extra percent-based shred from the last Whisper. Thank you very much.
There we go. But yeah, Lucian
Game's
right
over.
now, a lot of flat armor penetration, so he can actually deal with the LeBlanc if he does get the jump on LeBlanc. And he can deal with Void if he gets the jump on Void. It's like a mind game, really, because Happy can deal with Void incredibly easily. Happy can deal with Korn if he has the jump on Korn. If Korn has the jump on him, then that just does not work for Happy's favor. So it'll be interesting to see who gets who first. Right now, Happy constantly looks to be in position of being able to do that.
However, Newbee, they send 4 members towards the top side of the map, looking to try and take this turret for themselves. Pillar comes out, going to separate the team. Good ultimate comes in. Korn, very low, has to get healed by Void to stay alive.
That's not going to save this tower, though.
As here comes the Sand United. Swift jumps in, finds one, squashes the Trundle. The Troll is dead. And Newbee, they're going to be able to lock down the Sivir. He has to try and run away. There goes Swift into the back lines, gets the double kill. On top for the triple kill that will be picked up by Happy. Newbee looking to try and close this one out against Starhorn Royal Club.
They're playing a lot better. Oh!
Happy has to be careful. There's Let Me. Gets the shutdown, pops the ultimate. Korn goes back in. Dane incredibly low. Has to try and ghost and run away. The 2-man squad of Let Me and Korn are chasing away Newbee from the base. There goes Swift. He's in. Korn, what are you doing, buddy? As everyone collapses on top of the Poppy. Concussive blows, knocks him out as the ace comes out for Newbee.
Now, that was kind of questionable. He probably did not expect Swift to be jumping in like that. So, the hopping grasshopper, that was really well done from Swift. The rest of the team as well. They're picking their fights incredibly well, and they're going straight for this Baron.
They pull the trigger. Trundle is the sacrificial lamb to try and come in and get a steal. Incredibly difficult. Teleports are up for Starhorn, but everyone is just dead. And Newbee, this time they execute the Baron, they take it down, and Lei, you're just caught out of position, but he has to flash away. Summon as well being burnt by their support. He's just being a nuisance at this point. They even back on the pillar to add insult to injury, and look at that damage dealt, Raz. Swift was a monster.
He did a lot of damage, and of course you will if you do get your reset, and he got a lot of resets in this fight. A lot of picks happening for the team. Happy, Dade, working in unison, really pretty much giving Swift the ability to just go wild in these team fights. It's always nice to see a Kha'Zix get played, and it's getting played and honestly playing incredibly well for him.
He certainly is, and Newbee in general, they've, so far, I don't want to jinx it yet, but so far...
Don't say it.
have been doing well.
Nah, you said it. That's the curse.
They've yet to make a crazy mistake yet. They secured Baron, something they couldn't do last time round. They've been constantly getting themselves ahead. They didn't stick around when Happy died on the inhibitor. Made sure they backed off, backed away. They know they can't take it anymore.
Yep.
And even this, look, pushing out the bottom lane slowly. Use the Trinket Ward to spot out Insect trying to do something cheeky. And let's see if they can execute this one even further.
Ooh. And that's the armor pen. The flat armor pen coming out of Happy can just burn you down, especially if you're that far behind on Saber. 0-4-2. Right now, Void has not been having a good series.
Does have his triple item spike. Insect gets jumped on and obliterated. Newbee executing their team comp flawlessly in this game. Let me trying to knock someone back with the ultimate. Will get the Braum and the heck out of dodge. But for now, they're still chipping away at this turret. Newbee,
three Baroned up cannon creeps in that one wave.
Yep, no problems for Newbee breaking the base. They've taken down the bottom lane inhibitor turret, working on the inhibitor. Happy, dashing in and out, back and forth, takes that one down.
They could probably end on this if they even look towards it.
Top lane is being pushed in nicely by the Shen, and they rotate over. They still have it in mid lane inhibitor turret, and inner turrets have to be a little bit careful. But not too worried here as they do move towards the top side of the map. More taking everything up. Doesn't care. They're going to backdoor this one to start things off.
Yeah, why not?
No minions, no troubles for Newbee. That turret falls. Second inhibitor should fall shortly after.
Starhorn Royal Club really need to do something quick. Getting 2 inhibs down is not a light feat.
There goes Swift, trying to jump in and capitalize on the LeBlanc. Is on top of Lei, instead gets exhausted. Ultimate comes out, knocks more into the team. Lives with a sliver of health. Happy's dead though. Big kill coming out from Lei. Now Newbee tried to retreat away from the base of Newbee. They take down Swift as well as he comes out of Guardian Angel. So good fight from Silent Royal Club, but they still lose 2 inhibitors doing that.
Yeah, exactly. So once again, Newbee, they look to finally pressure it out. They get 2 inhibs though, so that is a decent enough trade. Dragon is up. It's Elder Dragon. So right now, of course, Starhorn Royal Club would love to go and say hello to it.
Can they?
But they definitely can't. They have to start battling these waves, and especially if once Newbee are out in the field, they don't even really need Swift and Happy. They can just look to hold and stop Starhorn Royal Club from taking this, because Baron, this Elder Dragon will do a lot of damage, and they can't really chunk it down.
It's currently healing more than Insect can deal damage to it. As Korn finds V cheating inside of the brush, the pixel brush with the pink ward.
They just need to hold them. As long as they can hold them, the minions will do the work.
They're trying. Elder Dragon down to half health. No smite available for Newbee yet. Swift and Happy making their way down. Korn will dash in, get some good damage on towards their mid lane as well as their front line. Dade has to be careful. Elder Dragon getting low. V goes in. QSS used by Korn to get the safety incredibly low. Gragas does get the smite, but they lock down Lei. Lei's going to fall. Happy's joined the fight now. Void going to have to flash over this pit, but he can't because a double kill comes out from Dade. And Void, holding onto his summoner spells again, refuses to flash over the wall.
Flash, heal. I mean, what's the use at that point? Either way, that was a bit unfortunate. 2 kills. That works out well for Newbee. Newbee knew to hold them on to the Elder Dragon. Elder Dragon is not that beneficial. I know that they probably look to get it regardless, just because if Newbee had gone on back onto the field, gotten an Elder Dragon on top of 2 downed inhibs, that could be game. probably won't change it anyways.
Well, Newbee looking to try and push for this one. They only knock the Brom away. Good shield stops that from following through. First Nexus turret is going to fall. Newbee look to try and fight the three-man squad of Starhan Royal Club. V goes in. Big flash taunt. Korn has to go into stasis. Incredibly low. Insect is in his Guardian Angel. LeBlanc will dash out of there. Now the rest of the team has to be careful. Insect coming back in. There's Void. Locked down. QSS is out of it. Dade low. Picks up the first kill. They take them down. Happy's in the fight. Chaotic team fight breaks out between the teams. Swift jumps in with no health. Newbee living with slivers. Blinky health bars for every single team, but they still want to try and end this one. He's still kiting back and forth. Does have the Guardian Angel available. Nexus is now bare. Insect trying to do what he can. V is still hitting the Nexus. So is Happy. Swift trying to stay alive.
Exhausted.
Lay is going to be able to try and go toe-to-toe. Everyone's just jumping in. They pile in on the Nexus. Swift Ghostblades in. Gets the 50 goal for his team because he does get the last hit on that Nexus. And Newbee pick up game number 2.
A much cleaner victory from Newbee. They got the lead going for them in each lane. They made it very difficult for Starhorn Royal Club to get their 1-3-1 going. They had Shen consistently just nullifying the LeBlanc's ability to just split out. Really well played from this team.
Definitely was, and now the series is 2-0 in favor of Newbee in the Best of 5 series. Match point for them, and 1 game away, Raz, from returning into the LPL for the 2017 Spring Split.
And it's got to feel good joining your sister team and Newbee Young, pretty much coming right back into the league. That's great. And especially in this fashion, you would like to see it happen in this way.
We can take a look at the highlights here, Raz. Newbee definitely cleaned things up. They made small mistakes this time around, but no major throws coming out from their team.
Yeah, well, they just ran in like a team, and that's what I love to see. If you're going to play Kha'Zix, if Dade is going to play Malzahar, just press the button, go in. You have V, who's fairly ahead, and Happy's just going ham.
Yep, he was going off.
That's what I love to see in Newbee.
Happy, he was a different beast picking up this Lucian.
Yeah, he got the proper matchup. On top of that, just look at them as a team, just going all in. But on top of that,
talked a little bit about Malzahar as well. You know, 6.15 has been nerfed significantly. His passive only lasts for 0.25 seconds when it does get popped.
Yeah.
But used effectively. Dade was not afraid to just lock down the person in front of him, tell his team, hey, kill this guy.
Yep.
And then we kill everyone else instead of just going for a backline target, waiting for the right opportunity. We'll have no problems locking down Insect. We'll have no problems locking down Let Me, who's just like, hey, kill him.
Yep, that's all you really need. You just need that one button. Say, hey, this is our target now.
This is one of the fights.
Language.
See, he locks down Lay. He's like, hey, kill him.
Yeah, and so it's great to see that working for them. That composition worked out well for them. They played it well. That's all you really need.
Exactly that. Newbee, they're able to pick up game number 2 here against Starhan Royal Club, who were not able to find the opportunity to fight back in that match, but they still have a series on their hands and still have the chance to get the reverse sweep that Young Miracles were not able to do so. We'll find out if they get that journey going on in just a bit.